As I have said many times before, DHS does not make the laws, Congress does. And we will enforce the laws that are passed by Congress. And I am offended when members of this institution exert pressure and often threaten me and my officers to ignore the laws they make and I am sworn to uphold.
Blunt criticism from Department of Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly, slamming Congress for threatening him and his officers for enforcing immigration laws they made. Reaction from Bristol County, Massachusetts, Sheriff Thomas Hodgson. Sheriff, great to see you. What do you make of Secretary Kelly's comments?
Well, Dagan, he's right on the money. Look, this idea that Congress are playing politics with the laws and trying to prevent him from upholding his oath is the same problem we have in law enforcement. Effectively, by not allowing us and attempts to try to prevent us from cooperating with ICE and with the secretaries and his staff is exactly what the American people don't want. They want us to enforce these laws to make sure that if we have criminally illegal aliens in this country, that we do everything we can to collaborate and get them out of the country. If Congress doesn't like the law, then they need to change it. But in the meantime, they can't pick and choose based on their political agendas whether or not the people of our country are going to be safe.
Well, let's talk about two of the bills that were passed in the House about illegal immigrants in this country. It's Kate's Law. It'll toughen the penalties or step up the penalties on those who were deported and then come back here and commit crimes. But also in dealing with sanctuary cities, the possibility that funds from the federal level will be withheld from municipalities who don't help in enforcing the immigration laws of the nation. Do you think that these will make a difference if they ever get through the Senate?
Well, there's no question they'll make a difference. Look, there's already some communities that were sanctuaries that are now backing out of it when they heard the president first talking about it. And as far as Kate's Law is concerned, look, that guy who killed Catherine Steinle, he would not probably have been out on the street if the Kate's Law was in place because it's a minimum mandatory sentence. But as it was, he had been deported 5 times and was still out there and allowed to be out there at the time that she was killed. So, yes, these are critically important laws, not just for the safety of the people of our communities, but it's also critically important for us in law enforcement to do what we can to get these people off the street and keep our communities safe. It's the fundamental responsibility of government to keep our communities safe. And any congressman who decides or senator that decides they don't want to support it, as one of the mothers said during a recent meeting last week with the president, one of the mothers who lost a loved one said, those who do not vote for these 2 bills will have blood on their hands because there'll be more innocent people taken away from their families, as has been the case of these individuals who were meeting with the president last week.
Well, Sheriff, talk about how difficult it might be doing your job when you were surrounded by potentially other communities, other mayors, other cities who do not enforce the immigration laws when you are trying to do that.
Well, it becomes increasingly difficult, and actually the people who are hosting these sort of sanctuary or cover for illegals are basically giving them a place where they can plot and plan things, whether they're looking to plot and plan a terrorist attack or whether or not they're running a drug smuggling, sex trafficking operation. And generally, they won't do it in the sanctuary. They're going to go to those neighboring communities and do it in those neighboring communities because they don't want to blow their cover in a place where a community is already going to give them sanctuary and give them a chance to not be identified by sort of avoiding the enforcement or cooperation with ICE.
Sheriff, great insight. Thank you for being here on this July 4th. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day. Thanks for having me.